y'all, my name's Chelsea and I'm so excited you're here. Welcome to the channel, Chelsea's Chapters. This is my first official book video, so I thought I would start with the BookTube newbie tag questions. The first one is, why did you start this channel? Well, there are a few reasons and I'm not going to name all of them here right now, but one of the main ones is I started a podcast in January, and so I've started getting into YouTube and making shorts and stuff. And since I've spent more time on YouTube, I've discovered BookTube. I did not know that was a thing. And so with that being said, I've really enjoyed creating content for my podcast and that channel, but I just thought it looked like fun to try to make book videos. And since I'm already reading anyway, I don't know how much extra time it'll take, but it feels like it won't take that much extra time. And so I'm hoping that it's just going to be a fun way for me to share something that I enjoy, and that I can hopefully inspire other people to get into reading more, because that's what these booktubers have done for me. The unique thing that I think I bring to the table, there are a few things. One, I'm a Christian, and I know there are a lot of other Christian booktubers like Haley Pham is, but I'm talking about books and reading from a Christian perspective. I'm a new-ish mom. I have a 1-year-old daughter, and she'll actually be 1.5 in about 2 months. But so I'm talking about books from kind of a stay-at-home mom perspective. But the third thing is I'm an adjunct instructor at the University of Mississippi. So I've taught college students for about 10 years now. And I hope, like, if any of my former students find this somehow, which I think the ones that would be looking for book videos, this would not apply to at all. But I'm just going to say, by and large, the students that I was seeing, and this is American students, I teach international students as well, but specifically domestic students, students from America. Slowly after I started teaching, like maybe 5 or 6 years into it, I started noticing that students were less focused, less motivated, way more addicted to their cell phone. And if they didn't have their cell phone, they were like antsy or just couldn't be without it. And I see a huge gap in people enjoying reading, and I see that that is having its, I see that it's playing out negatively with people being able to function in a college classroom and be able to honestly read instructions, read emails, and then also, of course, I was teaching writing. I don't think I said that. And so if you read an article or read a book or whatever, and then you write about it, you know, you've got to be able to understand what you're reading. And the reading comprehension seemed to go way down, whether students were either not reading at all and just pretending like they did, or reading it and truly not understanding it. I can't be totally sure, but yes. So the unique things that I can bring are, I'm talking about books and reading from a Christian perspective, from a mom's perspective, and the perspective of an educator. What I'm most excited for is just reading books and talking about them. And then why I love reading for a lot of different reasons. One is that I really do think it's important to kind of exercise your mind and help your attention span grow and help you learn how to be focused and maintain focus. And I think reading books is a great way to do that. I love that it's a good form of entertainment. Of course, there are, you know, inappropriate books and everything, but overall, reading is a good, uplifting, wholesome way to entertain yourself. And then also, I think it's a great way to learn about other people and other places that you wouldn't otherwise get the chance to do. You can learn about different cultures and different perspectives. You can have more empathy because of that. And also, as a Christian, I think reading is really good for your spiritual life, because you don't have to just read the Bible to learn about God. Of course, the Bible is the ultimate source of truth, and that is the main way that we get to know about God's character and everything. But in fiction and nonfiction books, we can see reflections of the heart of God and his love for us and his care for us. And so I think it's a really neat way to connect with God and to grow as a person and to grow in your spiritual walk, whether you're reading specifically Christian books or not. When did I start reading? I don't think this question is asking when I got the ability to read, but I will say I don't remember not being able to read. And whenever I was in 2nd grade, they were introducing phonics to our school. I went to a small private school, and this was in the, I guess, mid to late 90s, sometime in the 90s. And so I remember thinking it was so silly that we had to like label certain parts of words to learn how to read them when we could already read them. So I've kind of always loved to read. I did accelerated reader, and I actually got, so you took quizzes and you got points, and whoever got the most points in lower elementary and upper elementary got to go to Wendy's with the librarian. I got to do that once, and then I was so embarrassed about it because I felt like a big nerd. I also had glasses, I think starting in first grade, and then I felt like a big nerd again whenever I was reading, or whenever I had to wear my glasses. So I totally stopped wearing my glasses, and I don't think I knew this at the time, but now I know if I read for a while without my glasses, I get a headache. And so I did stop reading, like after third grade, after I got that award and went to Wendy's. Also, I had read all the Nancy Drew books in our library, and I'm not exaggerating. It was kind of a smaller school, so I guess we didn't have that many books to choose from, but there was nothing else that interested me in the library anyway. And so I was like, okay, I'm just kind of done. So I ran out of books to read that I was interested in, and I didn't like feeling like a nerd. And I think I was getting headaches because I wasn't wearing my glasses, and then I just didn't want to read anymore. And it wasn't until, oh goodness, I would say it definitely adulthood, sometime in adulthood, where I started wanting to read again, maybe in college. And I had this weird theology that I should not read just regular books more than I was reading the Bible. And so reading felt, I felt kind of guilty about reading at that time. And so anyway, I worked through all of that, and I would say probably 2018 or 19, so my late 20s, I started really enjoying reading again. And I've kind of gone through ebbs and flows, especially with having my first baby, but this year and last year I've gotten really into books, and I have a sister that's a big reader too, and so we just all enjoy talking about books, her and my mom and me. So yeah. Okay, what book got me into reading? I don't know if this means originally or recently. Originally, I think it would have been The Boxcar Children, if you're familiar with those. That was kind of my first chapter book to read, and I just fell in love with them, and I read all of them too. And then I would say in the more recent years, I really, really, really enjoyed Lisa TerKeurst's book, Uninvited. It's about rejection and basically how to live like you're accepted, because you are accepted by God all the time, even when you feel rejected by people. And I just have such good memories of that book, of reading that book in my favorite bakery in town, by myself on Saturday mornings, and really feeling seen, and like I'm not the only one that feels this way. And so I think that was one of the books that kind of sparked my renewed interest in reading. So books that I like to read the most, that's hard to say. Honestly, historical fiction is kind of my jam. I really love learning about different time periods and other cultures, like I mentioned. And so there are some books that I've read that are more biblical fiction. And some of them are really good and really well written. Others of them are not as much. And for me to enjoy a book, like really and truly, it does have to be very well written. And so sometimes those don't always like hit right for me. But I do love biblical fiction, historical fiction. Most of the books that I own are nonfiction. I don't know if they would be called self-help books, but kind of like spiritual life, spiritual formation, spiritual disciplines, that sort of thing. Christian growth, maybe is a better way to say that. So I have the most of those, but those are not the ones that I always enjoy the most. I enjoy getting lost in a good story. Okay, where do I read? I kind of read anywhere and everywhere that I can, because like I said, I have a 1-year-old, and so the days of me just like sitting down and reading for as long as I want to, anytime I want, are kind of put on hold for right now. And so I will read on my couch sometimes when she's playing around. I have a rocking chair in her bedroom where I'll sit and read sometimes when she's playing. When she's asleep, I read on the couch sometimes, and then I love reading in my bed. Are there any other places I read?
Outside, did you mention that?
Oh no. I also love reading outside whenever the weather's nice, but it's currently too hot for me to like be out there and really enjoy that this time of year. What does my book collection look like? Well, I've already mentioned I have mostly Christian nonfiction, and most of my books are behind me. My daughter's reading area is over here behind me, one of her areas, and I can get a close-up of the books at the end. This is a good one. Questions to ask favorite booktubers. I would love to ask Haley Pham specific questions about specific books. Like, I would love to know if she has read All the Light We Cannot See and what she thought about it. That would be my number one question for her. So, challenges to overcome. I've already mentioned that I've got a 1-year-old and I'm a teacher. And so I think just remembering to record, because the times that I can read are kind of here and there. I do read at night before bed almost every night, but I'm not going to be filming that. And so I think one big challenge is going to be remembering to turn the camera on, remembering to give updates on the books that I'm reading. Okay, so that's all the questions. I'm really excited to put out my first video about reading. I'm definitely going to do a book tour. Oh yeah, I forgot to do that. I'm going to do a book tour there. I'm going to talk about kids books and basically like the best books by month, if that makes sense. So my daughter is 16 months old now. So I hope every month to put like the top 3 to 5 books that she's enjoyed, so that if there are any other moms out there who are looking for books that are like the right length for whatever age child they have, that they can easily find those. I'm gonna do some vlogs hopefully, and I'm not gonna do as many reviews. Well, I think my reviews are gonna be a little bit different than normal, than most people's, because I'm so used to having to grade people's writing at work and just grade assignments in general at work and give numbers and stuff, that would feel too much like work to me instead of fun. So I am gonna, of course, describe the books and how I like them and everything, but I don't think I'm gonna do the typical like 1 to 5 star ratings. One idea that I've had that I've been doing is, well, I'm gonna save it, but it's more subjective and it's a different rating scale that I'm gonna use. So here is the book tour of my shelves.